Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out another reverb pedal, and I'm sure you all know what this is. This is the TC Electronic Hall of Fame 2. Now, I was the proud owner of the TC Electronic Arena Reverb, which was a limited edition version of the previous Hall of Fame. Pretty much the same functionality, but I just had a couple of different presets. I loved that pedal. I didn't think I was a reverb pedal kind of guy, but when I got it, I totally was, and I totally understand why people have reverb pedals. But I noticed that a lot of people on eBay and stuff like that were selling the Arena Reverb for about as much as you can buy one of these for new. So I thought, I've got nothing to lose here, I may as well jump on that bandwagon and swap it basically. And that's what I did. I sold my Arena for a pretty good price, and it wasn't much more to buy one of these brand new. And I'm really pleased I did. It's got a Shimmer reverb, which is not everyone's cup of tea. It is quite useful for some of the things that I've been doing recently, kind of more acoustic stuff. It's quite nice for that sort of thing. It's got a mash button, which is the biggest kind of new thing for this pedal. It's basically an expression pedal built into the foot switch, which I found out is not actually a gimmick. It's pretty useful. And then another thing, which I've also been using a lot more, is it's now got 3 tone prints. Which is cool. I wasn't a big user of tone prints. I've had a lot of TC pedals that have tone print functionality. I've never used tone prints, but I've been using them a lot with this pedal. They're really cool. Very similar to the previous Hall of Fames, but we have level, decay, tone, and then your kind of preset selector here. Room, hall, spring, plate, church, shim, modulation, reverb, which is my favorite, lo-fi, and then preset 1, 2, and 3. I think for the presets I have, try and think who they are. I think number 1 is the Kirk Fletcher tone print, which is a kind of a more subtle reverb, and then I think there is the Daniel Donato, I think that's his last name, tone print, which is a kind of another step up from that, and then finally I've got the Pete Thorne kind of dark swell reverb, so it kills the dry, and you use this as like a volume pedal to swell in your tone, and it's really cool. Actually, it works. And finally, another big thing for me on these Hall of Fame pedals is the pre-delay. I always have it on a long pre-delay, just because it separates your guitar playing from the reverb, and also helps with the attack on your note. You don't lose anything, but you know, short pre-delay is useful as well. Stereo ins and out. On the top we have 9V and a USB for updating it. I think they do updates for this pedal. You can set it to be true bypass or buffered bypass. I have it on true bypass because I like to turn off my delay when I want it turned off, instead of having the trail go on for ages. That's personal preference. So yeah, let's run through some tones with this. As usual, I'll be running through the Victory and using my Music Man Cutlass with this in the middle, not going through the loop of the Victory, because again, that's just not really my thing. I don't use the effects loop, but we may use some dirt from the pedal board, so it'll either be Wampler, what's it called, a Wampler Plexi Drive, or the Archer, but I'll let you know if I'm using those. So yeah, let's jump into it. This is the TC Electronic Hall of Fame 2. Clean sound, Music Man Cutlass into the Victory V40 sounds like this, no reverb. Got a nice room reverb, everything at 12 o'clock. when I first heard about the mash functionality thing, I thought it would be a massive gimmick. Like, it just wouldn't work in a live situation. It would break. I thought it looked flimsy, but you know, I'm pushing quite hard on that, and it's all fine. It's all good. Most of the first few presets, the mash does the same thing. It just gives you more level. Let's move on to Hall. So I guess this is just a bigger room. Now spring, let's give spring a go. This is going to be a popular option for you guys, I think. So let's boost the level up so you can hear it more. You can hear all those reflections that is quite characteristic of a spring reverb. It sounds like a spring, but it does sound like a digital representation of a spring reverb. But I think once you're playing in a mix, you're not actually going to notice it. You're going to just think you're playing a spring reverb. This is probably a good opportunity to talk about the pre-delay switch. Now, pre-delay switches, in my opinion, is an essential on a reverb pedal, because it really helps separate what you're playing from the reverb. Basically, it gives you a small delay before the reverb comes in. So it's really noticeable on the spring, so let's see what we get. Almost like a slapback effect. So the spring is cool, like I said, more of a digital representation of a spring reverb. Let's go to a plate. I like plate reverbs a lot. I think they're the most versatile reverb. Let's move on to church. So I think this is probably one of the biggest sounding reverbs in the pedal. Let's max out decay and just see how big we can get this thing to sound. Yeah, that's really a really tasty reverb patch. There's actually, I know there's a tone print version of that that's exactly the same but has modulation on it, and that is probably one of my favourite reverbs on this pedal. Let's move on to the Shimmer. So that's really great shimmer. So with the mash, I think it just brings the shimmer, just increases the level of the shimmer, I think. So let's give that a go. Let's move on to now this is my number one favourite in this pedal. I use this one a lot, and I think it's a lot of people's favourite in the pedal as well. I know that Mark Lettieri from Snarky Puppy really likes this patch as well, and it's the Mod. So it's just a big reverb with quite a heavy modulation, and I love it. Now that is a killer sound. That is, when you darken it up, as you know I'm a big fan of dark delays and dark reverbs. When you darken it up, it just sits right in the background of what you're playing and just gives you like a bed of modulated reverb, and it's just awesome. Now let's move on to lo-fi. Yeah, I don't think I've tried this one much. Let's give it a go. Okay, it's not my favourite sound in the pedal, and it's not as lo-fi. You know, that's not what I would describe as lo-fi to me. Lo-fi to me sounds just sort of super gritty, super dark, and that doesn't sound like that. It just sounds like I said, a more extreme version of the Spring, a more spaced out version of the Spring reverb. Let's talk about the tone prints now. So I have loaded this up with some custom stuff. I think on number 1 I have Kirk Fletcher's tone print. Number 2 I think I have Daniel Donato's tone print, and then number 3 I think I have Pete Thorne's swelling tone print. So I think it's called Dark Swells or something. It's basically a kill dry reverb, and you use the mash as like a volume pedal. Really, really great sound. So let's go with number 1. This is Kirk Fletcher's. Similar to the next one, this is the Daniel Donato tone print, I think. So this just sounds like quite a dark room reverb. I really like it, yeah. That's one thing to say about a lot of the tone prints, is that a lot of them are crazy things. Obviously just the tone print guys and the artists just having fun with reverb. And I appreciate that, but sometimes they're not the most useful. Speaking of crazy reverbs that are useful, is this Pete Thorne one next. I think it's called the Dark Swell. It's like a kill dry thing, and then you use the mash button as like a volume pedal to swell in. It's also got a shimmer on there. Yeah, I really like this one. that kind of means that me personally, I don't need a big old volume pedal on my board, because the only reason why I would use a volume pedal personally is to for volume swells, and that basically does it. That does what I need it to, especially when I add some delay. Let's add a bit of delay. Even though my delay is before the volume pedal, the mash button, it still works perfectly for what I need. So let's add some big delay. I'll also add a little bit of gain, and I'll show you what I mean. This is all that I need from a swell pedal. Yeah, so killer pedal. Super glad I swapped it. I think the new features are great. The mash button is not just a gimmick, it actually works. I love the shimmer for acoustic. It's useful for some things on electric, but it's just not my cup of tea. But like I said, I use it a lot on acoustic stuff. And having those 3 tone print slots is great. Like I said, I've never used the tone print before this pedal, and it's really changed my mind about the whole thing. So, good job TC Electronic. This is a great reverb pedal. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video, guys. Cheers.